Good morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody. Good morning, Miss Janicia. Happy Thursday. I hope you are well. Good morning, Miss Anna Island. Good morning, Miss Nikki. Good morning, Miss Cassandra. Good morning, Miss Carletta. Good morning, Miss Nisi, baby. Good morning, good morning. I'll start in about 2 minutes. Oh, since we are waiting on other people to come on, let me show you my new Bible. I got it yesterday. Absolutely love it. This is the cover. And then, as you can see, it has these margins so that you can write in it. Good morning. These devotions have been helping me so much. NYC supports you. Thank you, Miss Natasha. Good morning, Miss Natasha. So, I linked it in my Like to Know It. I got it from Amazon. This is the New Living Translation because that's the translation that I can understand pretty much the most. This is, I absolutely love this cover. Different, pretty. And I wanted, like I told y'all, I had a journaling Bible, but it was hardcover, so it was hard to lay flat. This one lays flat, no problem. So, absolutely love it. I got these, where are they? Good morning, Miss Sunshine. I got these highlighters. Of course, I'm just using one already. Y'all know the nice aesthetic highlighters. And these pens. Now, I thought these pens were colored. That's what I get for not reading. They are in black, but that's fine. And then I got a whole pack of like different sticky notes. And these are supposed to be the transparent sticky notes. Have these flags, that type of thing. I think the pins, and I got another set of pins too. Let's see if they're in this box. I don't know what I did with them. Anyway, they weren't expensive. Good morning, Miss Jenny. They weren't expensive. And as you can see, I used one of the sticky notes, and it is transparent. You can see through it. So absolutely love that. But yeah, love this Bible. Dug into it. Been writing notes, journaling. Good morning, Miss Nini. And all of those things. So let's go ahead and get started. If y'all want the link to the Bible, it's in my Like to Know It, which is linked in my, what is that? I linked it on my stories and Instagram. So, and if you don't follow me on Like to Know It, follow me there because I do link stuff all the time. But yeah, I linked it in my stories. So if you follow me on Instagram, you can go in my stories, press the link, and it'll give you the link to the Bible and all of the accessories and some other Bibles too. Or you can just follow me on Like to Know It and click there. If y'all hear people coming through. Were y'all able to move it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did it start?
Yeah, right away.
Oh, it did start? Oh, okay. My car was tripping this morning because of the cold, I guess. So my husband and father-in-law are out there.
So I can see people
doing their thing. So anyway, we are on day 4, walking in favor, the power of grace. Our Bible verse is Esther 2:15, and basically they summed it up, and I'll read the full verse in a minute, but it says, and Esther won the favor of everyone who saw her. The devotion is Esther didn't manipulate, she moved with grace. True femininity isn't forceful, but attracts favor naturally through wisdom and kindness. Our affirmation is I walk in divine favor and grace. Our action step is speak kindly, move gracefully, and radiate joy today. Love that. Our journal prompt is how can you cultivate grace in your daily life? So I'm going to read the whole verse from my new Bible. And this again is the New Living Translation. Esther 2:15 reads, as Esther was daughter of Abihail, who was Mordecai's uncle. Mordecai had adopted his younger cousin Esther because her mother and her father had died, which they explained earlier in the chapter. When it was Esther's turn to go to the king, because y'all know Vashti got banished, the king started, his little heart started aching, and he was like, I need a woman in my life. Like, I need a queen. If y'all know, the king had many women. He had a whole harem of wives and concubines, but he wanted that one special lady, okay, to be queen, which is who Vashti was to him before, the whole thing happened. So all of these young ladies were called to go to the palace and do what they needed to do to impress the king and become the next queen. And Esther was one of those ladies. So when it was Esther's turn to go to the king, she accepted the advice of Haggai. I'm probably not saying that right, but Haggai was a eunuch in charge of the harem. She asked for nothing except what he suggested, and she was admired by everyone who saw her. Or as this translation says in our devotional, Esther won the favor of everyone who saw her. She was admired. She won the favor. So it says in our devotion, Esther didn't manipulate. She moved with grace. And sometimes moving with grace means that you need to listen, okay? You need to take yourself out of the situation and listen. You need to ask God for wisdom and move with wisdom. You need to be kind so you can gain favor with other people. That is what Esther did. Haggai was the head man in charge, okay, of all the women in the harem. He knew the king's preferences. He knew what the king liked and didn't like. He knew how a queen should move. Oh, no problem, Mr. Kira. Good morning. He knew how a queen should move. He knew all of these things. Esther decided to listen to him, and she probably had that knowledge to listen to him because she listened to her uncle Mordecai. Okay, that's who took her in and raised her, so she listened to him. And so when she met Haggai, it says that he was impressed by her. And I wanted to look up as to why he was impressed by Esther. And it says he was impressed by Esther because of her exceptional beauty, gentle demeanor. Remember, we talked about gentleness in our last devotional and being soft and speaking in a soft tone. Good morning, Miss Patricia. And the willingness to follow his instructions. Are we willing to follow instructions? I know that for me, sometimes listening is a struggle, whether it's listening to God, listening to my husband, listening to other people in authority, because sometimes we think we know better, okay? We think we know. A lot of times we'll hear, well, my husband will say something and I'll be like, well, what can he tell me? I'm a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been through this. I know this or whatever. But sometimes we really need to listen. And sometimes just listening gets us favor. When you are quiet, which is another part, Esther closed her mouth, okay? She wasn't around here like, oh, I know this. And there were some reasons why she was quiet. Her people weren't a people that were accepted. Good morning, Miss Gail. Her people weren't a people that were accepted in the kingdom. So she had to kind of be quiet about her family background. She didn't really want anyone to know where she came from. Good morning, Miss Naturally Ree. So that was one of the reasons why she was quiet. But she had to be quiet in order to be able to listen. You know how they say they give us two ears and one mouth? It's for a reason. God's design is for a reason, right? Sometimes we need to shut our mouth and we need to listen. We need to follow advice. We need to ask God for wisdom and seek guidance, okay? Good morning, Miss Inspired Beauty by Me. So it says, because of her exceptional beauty, gentle demeanor, and willingness to follow his instructions, which led him to favor her and provide her with special treatment, like a special diet, beauty treatments, and the best accommodations within the harem. Essentially, she stood out among the other women vying for the king's attention. Be willing to take advice and instruction and not think of it as criticism. Amen. That is very true. We want to put, as soon as someone tells us something, we put up a defense, right? She said this, da 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 da. And it may be because she or he knows better. She or he, you know, I always say, and I heard this from somewhere, it ain't my original thoughts, God goes before us. And so to me, that also means that he places people in our lives that understand or have been or know the path that we are going down. Okay. And so either they're sent to maybe send a warning or maybe help us make a decision. And Haggai, which I'm sure I'm messing that up, he knew everything. He was a eunuch, and if you don't know what a eunuch is, basically, old dude has been castrated so that he is able to be around all these women without temptation. So that says a lot within itself. But anyway, good morning, Miss Patricia. Oh, I see what you're saying, Miss Patricia. I agree with that as well. So he knew um, everything. And he was impressed by Esther because she came in from the back, listening, being quiet. I want to say that because I read this as well. Let me get to this. So it says, Esther, in our devotion, it says Esther did not manipulate. She listened to Haggai. And so it says Esther is portrayed as not manipulating the situation, but instead choosing to listen to and follow the advice of Haggai, the king's eunuch who was in charge of the harem, effectively trusting his expertise on how to best navigate the court and gain favor with the king. This demonstrates her wisdom and humility rather than any manipulative tactics. Sometimes we get in situations and we're trying to figure things out, to work out for our good. Instead of trusting God, it's going to work out everything for our good, even when it doesn't look that way. Okay? We're trying to figure out not necessarily how to get over on people, but how to get what we want. And sometimes that can come off as manipulative. And that is sometimes why we need to just ask God for wisdom, shut our mouths and be quiet and listen, okay? Sometimes we just need to be still and wait on God. Amen. So it says, when Esther was brought before the king, she did not request anything beyond what Haggai suggested. She didn't think about, well, I think I might need this, or I had this at my other house, so I need it here. If Haggai said this is all she needed, that's what she went with. She relied on his guidance. It says Haggai was considered an expert on the king's preferences and appropriate behavior for women in the court. Esther avoided actively trying to control That word, oh, control the situation, instead chose a more strategic approach, which we talked about strategy yesterday, based on the knowledge of someone familiar with the king's expectations. That's good right there. She did not try to control the situation. In fact, you can even say Esther surrendered to Haggai and whatever he said. Haggai wasn't a man of God from what I had studied. You know, he wasn't any of that. Most weren't in this particular kingdom. This was Persia. It wasn't, from what I understand, a real godly kingdom. But where her background was, they worshiped God, right? So she didn't know, if this was going to be a good idea. And I'm pretty sure going into this situation, she had to, be like, hey, it is what it is. Because from what I understand from studying, she did not want to enter the harem. She didn't want to go into this contest, but it was something that she had to do because all of the young ladies in the kingdom were kind of forced to do it. And instead of being upset, instead of running her mouth, instead of trying to be manipulative or control the situation, she decided to listen. I believe that she sought wisdom and she decided to listen and follow what God said. And yes, Miss Jenny, she got favor. She got God's favor. Obedience is definitely powerful. So I wanted to look up, what does it mean to walk in divine favor and grace? Walking in divine favor and grace means to live a life that aligns with God's will, experiencing his approval, guidance, and blessings as a result of actively seeking him and living according to his teachings. Essentially, it signifies a state of being where you are actively receiving God's positive influence in your life, even during challenges, through obedience and a close relationship with him. You are aligned with his will. And you are in active pursuit of knowledge. Here, waking up and either doing this devotional or even catching the replay later on, we are in active pursuit of a relationship with God, of a connection with God, and a connection with other people who are also seeking God. And for that, we gain favor. So let me read the devotional again. Good morning, Miss CG. Walking in favor, the power of grace. Esther 2:15, and Esther won the favor of everyone who saw her. And in my translation, it says, she was admired by everyone who saw her. The devotion, Esther didn't manipulate. She moved with grace. She surrendered. She gave up control. She listened. True femininity isn't forceful, but attracts favor naturally through wisdom and kindness. Affirmation, a walk in divine favor. I walk in divine favor and grace. Our action steps, speak kindly, move gracefully, and radiate joy today. Our journal prompts, how can you cultivate grace in your daily life? I think that there's a lot of lessons in this one day. For me, it is moving with grace is asking God for wisdom to do the right thing. It is saying to me that, you know what, Nicole, take yourself out of it. Close your mouth, open your ears, listen, and be willing to be led. Be willing to be guided. Surrender. I have to be honest, I lost my way a little. And your devotionals. Gosh, thank you, Miss Nene. That's all I could ask for. I've lost my way many times. Many times. Many times. But as long as we wake up in the morning, we can start again. And I'm grateful for that. So this is me. Like I said yesterday, this devotion, I share it with y'all, but it's for me. Like, I learned a lot of lessons. Listen, well, my car didn't start this morning, so I didn't go to the gym again. But that's okay. I still been meeting my goals. Um, my car didn't start. So I walked my daughter to the bus stop. My husband came out there because he was like, if you don't know, my husband works out of town. So he's often in the Midwest, which is very, very cold. He's always in snow and stuff and sending me pictures of snow. So he was like, you ain't about this life because it's cold here. It's like in the 20s. So he came outside and made sure, well, we stood out there together and made sure that my daughter got on the bus. And then, I was telling him, because of course, when I when something's wrong with the car, I'm Googling it, okay? Because your girl used to be a single woman and had to try to figure things out for herself. But now I have a husband that knows things that I don't know. And sometimes I have to shut up and listen, right? So we came before. He was like, well, don't you have to do your devotional? He knows I do this devotional every morning. That's okay, Miss April. Miss Patricia, each day is, amen, each day is an opportunity to get things right. Okay, no problem, Miss April. Good morning. So I was saying, so did the car start? I was asking all these questions because he had went outside before I started studying and preparing. And I was like, oh, did it start? Or, what are you going to do? Because my car is parked behind his dad's car and his dad goes walking every morning. He was like, Nicole, he was like, give me a minute. And I figured out. And I had to shut my mouth, y'all. I wasn't like, oh, I da, which is what I probably would have been like in the past. Or, oh, I Googled this and, you should try to do this. And this is, he said he was going to figure it out. He was going to handle it. I came in here and I prepared. Him and his dad, they were able to move the car. They were able to get the car started. They took care of things, okay? I didn't have to open my mouth. I didn't have to get him upset. Because sometimes when you try to tell them what to do, when they already are, know what they need to do, they get upset. We didn't have any of that. I said, you right, baby. Let me sit down and prepare and do what I need to do, okay? Focus on what I need to do. And they figured it out. And sometimes that is what we have to do in life. We have to be quiet. We have to listen. We have to surrender control and let things be figured out, whether it be by someone else that God placed in our life or by God himself. This is awesome in helping us get closer to God and know he wants to be as feminine women. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Cassandra. So yeah. Yeah. I don't know why I always end up with these real life examples for y'all, but I guess it is what it is. It is what it is. But I love this story of Esther. I love how it pointed us back to kind of what we talked about yesterday about, strategy. Her strategy was to come in there, and maybe she didn't look at it as a strategy, but she came in there and she listened. She listened to the man who knew what he was talking about. And ultimately, because she listened and she followed and she didn't get in her own control, like, yes, Mr. Kira, submit that control. She didn't get in her own control and say, you know what, I'm a woman, or like I said, this is what I had at my house at home, and so I need that here. No, she listened to exactly what Haggai said to do, what he said to have and not have. She did all of those things, okay? And because of that, she ended up being the queen. But not even being the queen, ultimately she was able to save her people. And that's the biggest thing, right? She was able to save her people, which we're going to get into further in this devotional. So I'm super stoked about this one. I loved our last one, but like this even speaks to me more, okay? So I hope that y'all are as well. But anyway, that's all I got. I'm absolutely, even though I kind of just cracked this open, I'm going to do a little bit more studying for tomorrow when I get off of here. But I'm loving this Bible. I'm loving being able to write in the margins and point out things that speak to me. And like I told y'all yesterday, I want to kind of get into verse mapping. So I've been kind of figuring out how to do that. We have to let go and let God. God has a purpose for all of our lives. Yes, he does, Miss Cassandra. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And if you don't know what that is, ask him. Seek him. Keep asking him. But also sometimes just sit still and be quiet and it'll come to you. You will figure it out. He will figure it out for you. So anyway, y'all have anything y'all want to say about today's devotion? It was pretty straightforward. I think. I walk in divine favor and grace. I love that affirmation. Love it, love it, love it. You're welcome, Miss Niecy, baby. Good morning, Miss Dana. Thank you. Thank you. Tomorrow's going to be good, too. Tomorrow's going to talk about a little bit of homemaking, which I think is a good thing that sometimes we need to be reminded of, that we are keepers of the home. So I'm excited. I hope that you are as well. Well, there's something else I want. Tomorrow I'll be tonight I'll be picking the winner. And tomorrow I'll be announcing the winners of the giveaway. So, I don't know who that is. We will hide. Yeah, eventually I'm going to have to give me a moderator. But until then, I got this. All right, yes. Have a blessed day, everyone. So I won't keep y'all. Thank y'all for joining me as always. I will see y'all on tomorrow. I pray and intend that you have a wonderful, amazing day. And remember, today, just listen. Just listen. You ain't got to do all of that. You ain't got to yap and talk and all of that. Let's just listen today. Start the day off like me, having to shut my mouth and listen, okay? Oh, thank you. I got this from Target, but I think Hobby Lobby had them too for Valentine's Day. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye, y'all.